Today I am interviewing Noona Nafousi, a really good friend. Noona is a CEO and a business owner. She started Neo Noor, a coaching company for executives.
So I moved for love.
I was queuing for a cash point, so I'd gone like inside the bank and I'm waiting, and there were two sort of younger men, maybe sort of 20 years old.
I had two young kids, I lost my identity and I put on a lot of weight, and I returned back to work and I just didn't feel myself. And I could feel a shift in the business. I completely lost my confidence.
For our listeners, can you just tell us, let's go back. Can we just talk about sort of pre-Dubai?
To be honest, I found it really difficult because the first job that I got here was with an oil and gas.
Welcome to the Moving to Dubai podcast. Today I am interviewing Noona Nafousi, a really good friend. Noona is a CEO and a business owner. She started Neo Noor, a coaching company for executives. In this episode, I'm going to interview Noona all about her moving to Dubai, how she's found it, having a family here, her entire life, and also what it's like being a female business owner in the UAE. Welcome to the Moving to Dubai podcast. Today I'm joined by the amazing Noona Nafousi. Noona, thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm honoured.
Before we begin, please could you just tell our listeners a little bit about yourself, your journey?
Yeah, my name is Noona. I am the CEO of a company called Neo Noor. We do training for leaderships in the corporate world. I'm a brain trainer and a leadership coach.
Amazing. Now, probably our listeners don't know, or they might know because they might have seen on social media, but you and I are very good friends.
Yeah.
And we met in Dubai, and which was probably back in, I want to say 2022 when I first moved over here.
Yeah.
And just hit it off straight away.
You did.
Love you so much. Thank you so much for doing this. For our listeners, can you just tell us, let's go back. Can we just talk about sort of pre-Dubai? So, because I know you've been here a really long time and I definitely want to get into that, but I think it's really useful for people to kind of know the backstory. So yeah, if you could just give us a bit of history.
Yeah, I was working head of global recruitment for a big conference company called IQPC. I'd been there for 5 years and I loved my job. I absolutely loved it. I loved where I lived. I lived in a beautiful flat on the South Bank. You could see the London Eye, single, living the life, and nothing was going to get me to move out of London.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Yeah. But obviously you did move out of London.
Yeah.
So everything's wonderful. South Bank sounds beautiful. But what made you make that decision to move? When was it? How did it happen?
Yeah. So I moved for love. And I know, love. And my dad had got a job in Dubai. He was the CEO of Al Rustamani, and so he got a job out here. So we used to come and see him like 2 or 3 times a year, and we'd spend time with him. And I met my husband here on holiday. That was April 2012, but on January the 1st, 2013, I jumped on a plane, gave up my whole life, my flat, everything, moved to Dubai, and by May that year we were married.
Wow, what a whirlwind romance. And that's so, I love it because it's like what happens in the movies.
Yeah.
And it does happen in real life.
It does.
And I know you're a wonderful husband, so I can understand why you made that decision. So fantastic. So we're in 2012, 2013, you've finally moved here. And how did you find that experience? Because although you'd been coming and like you, I also had been visiting Dubai for sort of the last 20 years, but definitely I feel living here is different.
Yeah.
It's not the same as being on holiday. So how did you find that transition from London, recruitment, all of that to all of a sudden now I live in Dubai and I'm here with my now husband?
Yeah.
How did you find that?
I actually, to be honest, I found it really difficult because the first job that I got here was with an oil and gas company based in Sharjah.
Okay.
So I was driving to Sharjah every day, and you know, it was so different to living in London. The culture of the company was completely different.
Right.
I felt like a complete fish out of water. I was like, I do not belong here. It took me a really long time as well to make the right friends and find my friend. And I'm such, like, friends are so important to me. And so I got made redundant from that role, which was probably the best thing that happened to me. I got a
Yes.
really amazing payout, so that was great.
Yeah.
It was actually a really, they did the right thing
Yeah.
by on in hand when they let me go. And then I joined an Irish recruitment company, and I met my friends, started to find my people.
Yeah.
It wasn't really until I probably got pregnant, and that was 2015. So 3 years since I met Arash, that I started to feel a bit more settled. Like I just felt, and actually, if I'm really honest, until I moved into my villa, which I live in now, we were in an apartment, it was 2 kids, and it does take time. So for anyone who's moving here, it can take time.
Yes.
And I did have a good group of friends, but I think once we bought our own home, decorated it, it's like ours.
Yeah.
Now you could not pay me all the money in the world to move away. So it can really take time, but once you switch, that's it. There's no going back.
And I think that's really honest as well. And we help people relocate out here, and that's a conversation that we have a lot with people is, give it time. It's a huge adjustment.
Yeah.
Regardless of where you're coming from. Or even two, it's a huge adjustment to move countries, to settle down. A lot of people, when they move to Dubai, they don't have their forever home straight away, and they're kind of in transit, and like you said, you were in an apartment, and I think it does, but you've got to give it that time, and it's okay. It's okay to feel unsettled, because sometimes people panic. So that's really, really interesting, and glad that it eventually all settled down, and your villa is just the most beautiful home I've ever seen, so I totally understand, and I haven't even seen it since you've done all the work to it. That was before, so I can understand that. Okay, fantastic. So we're in the villa, kids, your beautiful children are here, and how did you start Neo Noor? Like, why, how? Tell us about that.
Yeah, so I was working for a recruitment business, and after my kids were, I think, 5 and 4. I don't really understand. I still don't really understand what happened, but my boss just got a bit funny. I think as well, I had 2 young kids, I'd lost my identity, and I put on a lot of weight, and I returned back to work, and I just didn't feel myself.
Yeah.
And I could feel a shift in the business. I completely lost my confidence.
Yeah.
He had made some comments like, he basically took my team away from me, and then demoted me from a director to a sales consultant. And within that month, and he cut my salary by, I think, 80% or something. And me being so lack of confidence at the time, like so confident, I was like, it's fine. I'll make it work. And at the time, I was the main breadwinner. Arash was just getting his career going. He's 9 years younger than me, so he was just starting out. And so I didn't feel that I could move, and so I was putting up with a lot that I wouldn't. COVID happens, and he just called me up and said, I'm going to have to let you go. I'll say it's a redundancy. He essentially fired me. And because I'd worked with him for 5 years, I was expecting like a really good gratuity. We'd invested in a villa that was being rented out. So we had a mortgage to pay. And he gave me the gratuity on the reduced salary, even though I hadn't signed anything. So essentially stole quite a lot of money from me. It was complete lockdown in Dubai. Like, they were quite strict here during COVID. It was only 3 months, but everything was shut down. I needed that money because we needed to live. And so I accepted it. And I remember being like, because it was COVID as well, I was just like gone in the bathroom and just lay on the floor crying. And Serena, my daughter, walked in, and she found me on the bathroom floor, and she's just like, Mummy, why are you on the floor crying? And something in me just was like, no, this is not my story. I am not going to let him treat me like this. And I literally picked myself up, like metaphorically and physically.
Yeah.
And I just went on this massive journey of rediscovering myself, getting my confidence back. I've always been interested in personal development. I'm an NLP master practitioner anyway, which I did when I was 26. And I just hired a coach who I couldn't really afford. And she really did help me turn my life around. She's an intuitive coach, a lady called Caroline Britton. She's amazing. And in that year, I just completely changed. And I could see, as much as I could blame the person that I was working with, I really realized how my lack of boundaries, my lack of confidence, my losing my identity of having those, two young kids, the pressure of being the main breadwinner, all of that really played into really what actually was probably the turning point of my life. And then I decided, right, I would love to set up a business where I'm helping people in the corporate world. And that's where Neo Noor was born. 5 years on, and I would never do anything else. I love it.
No, and you've done so incredibly well. And I just think, knowing you on a friendship level, but also knowing your professional side, I can totally understand why that fits with you and what you offer, because you are just the person, out of all the people I know, you are definitely the person that you have a way with words and you have a way of making people feel heard. And that's such an important skill to have with what you're doing, because people come to you and they just feel drawn to you and like, yeah, Noona's going to help me. So I totally understand why you've been so successful. Amazing. So love that story, by the way, and love, Serena kind of featuring in that. And now she obviously looks at her mum like, wow, what an incredible powerhouse. And she's the same, I know. So what I think would be really useful for our listeners is to talk a little bit about, now you've been here so long, sort of 12 years, what are the sort of common misconceptions people have about Dubai? Because you are so settled, been here such a long time, and you really understand the Dubai way. And for us, helping so many people move out here, I think it would be really useful to just touch on that.
I think, well, when I, came from the UK, I just thought that it would be a really boring lifestyle. In the beginning, I think now Dubai does have, it's done amazing in its personal branding, and people do know that it's not so much. But I actually thought it would be quite strict. And there would be so many restrictions of me as a woman. And I have to say, I feel more empowered here in Dubai than I ever did in London. In London, if I was out, I wouldn't walk on the streets on my own at 2 a.m. I would not. You do feel like sometimes that you don't get certain opportunities because you're a woman, or, like when you walk down the street and builders are whistling at you and you feel uncomfortable, you don't get any of that here. And I'm really surprised, because it's such a hub of different nationalities, how they've managed to have all these different nationalities all have different views of women. And when you go to those individual countries, the experience may be different, but how they've managed to create a culture where women feel so safe, so heard. And I didn't realize how, say, for example, if I go to a government office and I'm waiting for something to get done, if they see that there's 10 men waiting and me, they'll take the woman to the front. And there's a separate queue for women. And the amount, I just feel so looked after. And I was protected. And it's like, because I'm a woman. And I did not expect that.
No.
And now when I go back, like we went to Heathrow in the summer, and we've got the kids and we're taking all the luggage. I was really surprised that no one would help you take the luggage off the what do you call it? The
carousel, I think.
Carousel. And I think here, it's not just the people who are working at the airport. Generally, like, a man would come up and be like, let me help you with that. Or there's such respect for women. And I love it. I absolutely love it.
I can wholeheartedly agree with that. And it's definitely a misconception, because I speak to people every day who, how's it going to be for me as a woman? And I'm like, gosh, I have a memory actually of, I think it must have been close on 20 years ago, being here, and I was queuing for a cash point. So I'd gone like inside the bank and I'm waiting, and there were two sort of younger men, maybe sort of 20 years old, were using the cash point. So I'm just waiting, you know, it's the very British way, like we queue and we wait. And the security guard came over and sort of took their card out, gave it to them, moved them to the side and said, you know, here you go. And I'm like, oh. So use a cash point, get what, you know, it's uncomfortable. And I remember thinking, oh, like that just wouldn't happen in the UK. And it's not and then the guys that were using it were like, yeah, absolutely, like didn't even realise I was there. Like they're like, yes, like you go first. Like that is the way here. And yeah, okay, the safety and everything, like absolutely, which is so important. But this feeling of like I am important because I'm a woman, which is what you said, is just, it's so strong here. Like it really is. You know, I feel like actually I started a business here. I've grown it to a considerable size in a short space of time. And being a woman, like it's actually helped me do that, you know, like, and that's just kind of unheard of. So I totally understand what you're saying. And I love that about it.
To add to that, do you know what I really love as well is that if you want to be a woman here and dress a certain way, you know, if you want to cover your hair and you want to wear the hijab, you will get treated the same. If you don't want to cover your hair and you want to walk around in a miniskirt, you're still as safe. Like there's no difference of what you're dressed like. You're still treated with the same amount of respect. And I think that means that women have the freedom to choose that, you know, you don't have to dress a certain way to get more attention or to get the privilege. It's not that just if you're covering your hair, they, you know, or if you know, show a bit of cleavage. It's all, there is a real overall equality amongst how you're treated with women. And I love that. I absolutely love that.
Yeah, that's a really good point, actually. I didn't even think about it like that. That's so true. And I think as well, just, you know, government initiatives, I mean, they are creating like the first female kind of police force, well, not even first, but they've really empowered that, and like specifically for women and women in security roles. And I just don't think people perceive it that way. Not everybody, but people will think actually, you know, you're going to be treated maybe not as fairly or not as equally being a woman out here. And I'd say it's absolutely not the case. And I have not experienced that at all here in a short space of time that I've kind of been here, lived here, built a business. I'm like, I don't, if anything, I think it's the opposite, you know? So yeah, that's great.
And the other thing is, I really do feel that women entrepreneurship is really encouraged here as well. Like if you look at the woman who's set up, her name's Neda, who set up Al Barari and has built all these amazing developments in Abu Dhabi, and you know, she's a woman, and she's done amazingly. And you see all these entrepreneurs who are coming up and they're encouraging it. They want women in the workplace. They want women to go out and you know, there's no stay at home, and there's none of that.
No.
And you're so supported because you do, you know, you are able to do that as a woman here. You know, you can get the support at home that allows you to go out and work. And I think I feel more empowered as a woman in Dubai than I have in the UK.
That's great. And so let's flip it then for a second. What would you say has been the biggest challenge that you have found since moving to Dubai and setting up a business here?
I mean, like any expat, you know, I think I do really miss my brother and sisters. And I think it's really difficult to, you know, I'm very lucky I've had my mum and dad here. But there is, you know, you do miss that part of it. My children aren't growing up with their cousins. That I would say is the biggest challenge. Other than that, I think had you asked me this question 5 years ago, there would have been different answers.
Yes.
I think now, you know, it really does feel like home, that I wouldn't say that. I can't think of anything else top of my head other than missing your family and friends, because life is so easy here, you know.
So easy.
And it's really, the thing that I really love about here is that you're not looked down on because you want to be successful. No. And it's actually a city of convenience, that if you want to be an entrepreneur, there is so much in your lifestyle that will allow you the convenience of doing that.
Yeah.
What you want at your fingertips. So yeah, had you asked me that 5 years ago, but I think now that's probably the only thing that I can think of.
And that is a big one, and it's a big challenge, and it's not Dubai specific. It's just being away from family and friends, you know.
Yeah.
And I know you have some amazing friends that are not here in Dubai, and that's challenging. And I think where Dubai is located does enable people to visit. You know, I always think when I travel here into the UK, it's 6.5 hours. Do you know what I mean? It's like you can go for a weekend if you really want to. It's not the other side of the world.
Yeah.
The location of it is amazing.
Yeah.
But missing family and friends for sure. I mean, most people know I moved back to the UK because of my mum, and you know, that's just the way it is. I wouldn't change it, but family is so important, and being away from them can be difficult. And I think we're so lucky now with technology, you know, FaceTime and all these things that we didn't have before, where it's like, even this week I'm away from my children, I'm in Dubai, and like FaceTiming every day, and I think, oh, that just gives me that connection just till I get home, you know. So we are super lucky in that respect.
I'll tell you one challenge at the moment is that everybody wants to move here, and the traffic is a nightmare.
Yes.
And that is, I would say, the biggest challenge right now is that I really, you know, all this like Habibi come to Dubai, it's Habibi stop coming to Dubai. Like, just can everyone just stop coming? But having said that, you know, they're building new roads, they're, you know, building amazing bridges.
Public transport,
the infrastructure's incredible.
It's incredible.
And I love that they're still welcoming so many people. It's amazing. I think it's 1,000 people are moving to Dubai a day.
Oh, it's definitely a lot, because we are so busy. It was so many inquiries, which is just move to Dubai. You know, how do we move? How do we set up a business? All of this, just constantly, all day, every day, which is why I wrote the book, because I'm trying to educate and help as many people as possible.
I really wish I had that when I first moved, because you know, it's so, there's so many like intricacies that you don't know. That I think that book would have helped me so much when I first came here.
So you touched on the convenience here, which I love it so much. I had to get some trousers altered. I arrived off the plane on Sunday. I was like, I need some trousers altered. Straight to the menders. I said, you know, how long do you think you'll need to do them? And the lady was like, is an hour okay? And I was like, yeah, I just needed them by tomorrow. Like, I just needed them within like 24 hours or even longer. But I was like, yeah. And I'm thinking, in the UK, I'd be waiting a week. Like, if I ask for them within a week, they're like, you know,
pushing it.
It's I will do it, but it's going to be extra, you know. And it is pushing it. Next time, can you give us longer? I'm like, I don't run my life like that. I'm very much like, I need this. I want this sorted. Da 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 da. I'm kind of a sorter, and you know, nothing is. I was talking about this earlier, like, nothing is a problem, it can all be fixed. Dubai enables that because of its convenience. How do you find, being a mum, you've got school, you've got your wonderful house, you've got your business, how do you find the convenience really helps you here?
Oh, like massively. Say, just this morning we run out of milk. You know, within 10 minutes it can get delivered. Just small things like that. But even like everything's at your fingertip. Like I just bought a fan for the living room. Within 2 days someone's going to come in, they put it on, it's going to get done. And I think as well, the convenience, you get used to it, and the cleanliness is that when, you know, you go to, like you said, you know, when we go to the UK and we're expecting things. And I think if you're a business owner, you need things to be done quickly. If I'm going to do a workshop and I need things printed for my workshop, if I've got a new client and I want to send out a present, you know, gift to my new client, there's so many things that just happen. And even now, renewing your visa, I mean, it's so, what they have done to be able to digitalize everything. I didn't even have to go into the office. Like when I first moved here, you would have to go from office to office, and you know, it would take quite a lot of time. Within 20 minutes, I've registered everything online. We just have to go for the medical. That's it. And then it's done. And everything is so not just convenient in terms of being delivered to you, but digitalizing so much.
So much.
Renewed my trade license online. It took me half an hour. Not even half an hour, 10 minutes. Just got it in, did all of it. And if anything that feels like a hassle, give it 6 months and they would have figured out a way to make it easier. And I just love that. Like, it's so You know, when Sheikh Mohammed said, I want this to be the best country in the world, number one at everything, he was not joking.
No.
You know, and it's everything. It's
Yeah.
in everything that they do. And it gives you that kind of ambition as a business owner as well, of like, how can I bring that into my business?
100%.
And I love that. I love the attitude of it as well.
Yeah, and I make you right there, because every time I come, when I was living here and every time I come here now, I definitely take elements of how Dubai is run, and I think they are the best of the best at everything, and everything you do and everywhere you go, it is the best. And I want to bring that into my business, and it really ignites me. I'm always like, wow, like I would never even have considered that. And they've done it, and now I'm like, I want to bring that into my business, you know, like it's just, I love it. So good.
Yeah, it's so motivating.
Yeah. If you could give a piece of advice to someone who, so they've moved to Dubai, that's their decision is made, they're setting their business up, what one piece of advice would you give?
Yeah, I would say be patient. And also the other thing is put yourself out there. Really put yourself out there, because everyone here is an expat. There's no cliquiness.
No.
So people will, like, before you even moved here, we were already like, let's meet up when you come. And I think because everyone once was an expat, people are much more welcoming. So put yourself out there. Don't be afraid to ask for help, and be patient.
Yeah. Great advice. Love that. Amazing. Well, we're going to finish off with a fun quick fire round.
Great.
So just a few quick fire questions. Just the first decision comes in your head. No agenda. Right. Ready. Beach or pool?
Ooh, beach.
Cats or dogs?
Neither. Ruin my beautiful sofas.
That's so funny. I don't blame you. Going out and socialising or staying at home?
Oh, staying at home.
Especially in your beautiful house.
All the time.
Watching a movie or listening to a podcast?
I love a podcast.
Yeah. Cook or takeaway?
Oh, I love cooking.
Yeah. And finally, UAE or UK?
UAE, 100%.
Hands down.
Hands down, no question.
Amazing. And that's us wrapped up. Thank you so much for being on my podcast, my first guest on Moving to Dubai podcast. I really hope you've enjoyed this episode. And if you have and you want to see some more, please like, comment and subscribe to my channel.